Hello everyone, my name is Violet Ikong and I am delighted to have you join us on the very first episode of Camps and Borders. This is a podcast that is dedicated to stories and discussions around forced displacement. We are centering the voices of asylum seekers, refugees, and internally displaced persons, allowing them to contribute to topics and discussions that have to do with the issues that affect them. At the same time, this podcast allows for experts and humanitarian workers in the field of forced migration or forced displacement to share professional insight into the issues that we seek to address through this podcast. On today's episode, we are discussing mental health and forced displacement, particularly looking at refugees. Our guest today is a Congolese refugee in Uganda who is also a strong advocate for mental health. His name is Raphael Akonkwa, and I am going to allow him introduce himself. He's going to tell us all that we need to know about him. It's really wonderful to have you join us today, Raphael, and it's really exciting that you're our very first guest on Camps and Borders. So thank you so much for being a part of this, and I'm going to allow you talk. I'm going to pass the mic over to you right away for you to tell us all about you and your work around mental health. So it's over to you now, Raphael. Thanks for joining us. Tell us about you.
Yep. Thank you. My name is Raphael Akonkwa. I'm from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And political instability, I found myself in Uganda, where I've spent actually half of my life, I think. My idea starting working the refugee, raising awareness around mental health started in 2020 when COVID started. I realized that people, see those with job were not, were at home now, since actually no one was working physically. Most of the activities were happening online. So just many ideas came out to me, asking myself how to start bringing in people together just to talk about their challenges that affect them in their families, in their relationships. And then after the COVID, after the quarantine, I realized that there was even more than what I thought I was trying to do, like organizing an online space where people come, share their ideas, share their challenges. I realized that people do really face mental health challenges, as I did also when I was young, when I first came to Uganda.
Okay.
And as you know, it's still like a taboo in most African countries, so people really fear to talk about mental health challenges.
Oh, I see.
So I thought of a creative way that would bring in people to socialize, so that they could go through an interactive and artistic event while opening their minds to share about their lives' challenging situations.
All right, thank you. So you just mentioned that when you arrived in Uganda newly as a refugee, you had your fair share of mental health struggles. Do you mind sharing what exactly it was like for you mentally when you arrived in Uganda, when you had to flee your home country in search of protection?
Yep. I would love you to think of a situation where you sleep and then you wake up finding yourself in a new community full of people from different backgrounds, and most of them not speaking your language. Most of them not really look like you, because in the refugee camp where I come from, we had in so many people from different backgrounds, from different African countries. Normally, there is no way to socialize. There is no way to talk about any idea that you want to bring in the refugee camp, due to limitations of the language barriers, but as well different backgrounds. So most of the times we do not trust each other as Africans. Okay. What really happened to me was that I found myself in a closed community, where I could not even have time to think of what future would look like. I remained like in a traumatizing situation where I could only think of where I came from, but not thinking of what I can do where I found myself at that moment. But that's how it was affecting me.
Okay, and during that time, were you able to get support, like mental health support? Did you seek for help? Were you able to get it? How were you able to manage the whole thing during that time?
Actually, one of the things that I used to do to keep myself happy, to keep myself free from negative thoughts, it has been always doing sports and few physical exercise like dance, running, and as I have kind of a background in dancing, so that was the only way to keep myself.
Oh, sounds nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Raphael. And moving forward now, you've talked about your own challenges that are specific to you, but now generally talking about refugees, forcibly displaced people, what mental health struggles would you say refugees face that, or like people outside don't know, people they don't see, they don't understand, they don't get those issues that pose mental health challenges to forcibly displaced people, refugees specifically?
One thing that I've talked about the challenge that refugees face in terms of mental health challenges, the daily stress, having in questions around what to eat today, what to eat tomorrow, and if you get what to eat today, you still ask yourself, how would you distribute the food that you get? Because in the refugee camp, imagine you receive only $3 per person per month, which is really hard to survive with. So there are so many struggles that refugees undergo on a daily basis that affects their mental well-being. And I've realized that many people are not really open to talk about their life's challenges, situations. And mental health issues is not like something that comes today and you get it. It's not like flu. You pass somewhere, flu starts today and that's all. So it's as stages where something small can lead to something big that would even lead to suicide attempt, or maybe to a severe depression. I can say that, yeah.
Yeah, I see. And now talking about, mental health, it's a very vital topic. It's a very important discussion. But if you go to refugee camps, refugee settlements, just as you mentioned, people don't really have conversations around mental health. And when people talk about challenges that refugees face, just like I mentioned earlier on, it's always about aid cuts, it's always about hunger, protest. But mental health is, I don't know, it's most times neglected. Yes, it's most times neglected. So for you, why do you think it's this way? Why do you think mental health is not really talked about and addressed in amongst refugees in the refugee community? Why is it that way?
Yeah, I don't know where the challenge came from, but I think most people do underrate, really. They do underestimate and underrate mental health. many people, when bringing in the solutions, bringing in the challenges that refugees face, they look at education, they look at hunger, which is correct actually to also act towards that. But we also forget, or maybe they forget on the most important thing, which is the well-being part of it. And to me, I always say that the most important health is the mental part of it. Okay. Because once you're not mentally stable, so it will really affect your way of living in terms of thinking, in terms of also your courage in working, in looking for opportunities. Another thing that I see also, even if people would come to bring in a solution, apart from refugees themselves, other people generally take mental health as a taboo. You know, it's like, now how will someone see me talking about me being stressed? They will see me as a weak person, and this is commonly for men. So we grew up in a society where we believe that a man can suffer without even sharing anything, and that's okay. That's being a man. When you suffer, you don't have to share anything.
Yeah.
Yet once you share something, this grows in you each and every day, which leads to so many mental health issues. So I think there are two things that I always see. There is inaccessibility of people bringing in solutions or maybe activities around mental health. Again, and now another one is people do not feel free to talk about their mental health challenges because they fear to be judged, they fear to be called crazy people, and so on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Quite interesting. So, for you, I know that you do a lot of work around the mental health. So, can you share with us your work as a mental health advocate? Let's know that part of you.
Sorry, what was the question?
Okay, so I would like you to talk about your work as a mental health advocate. I know you have an organization, but just tell us all about it, what you do.
Yep. So now realizing the challenges that there is limited access to safe space where people could talk about their challenges, but as well me realizing that people are not also free talking about their challenges. I thought of a creative way using art as a tool to raise mental health awareness, but as well to provide solutions to some of the challenges that people do face. Okay. One thing that I used is people coming to the events to be entertained, but now the theme that are under the events look at those mental health issues, look at those challenges that we do face in our communities, that we do face in our countries, that we face in our cultures. And then we open like an open discussion where now a performer will talk about, let's say, nostalgia. They will perform a poetry around nostalgia, and people will get to know what is nostalgia. They will get to have awareness about it, how it affects, but also what is the benefits of you opening up. You find yourself in that situation.
And these people are refugees.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mostly with the refugee communities. What happens now? These people, the refugees now feel free to contribute to what is already being shared. Because I realized that the most fear is that people don't want to be the first one to start talking about the challenge. So what we do, we take in these dancers coming up with a piece of a dance that is into nostalgia. After they are performing their performance, they will share what message they wanted to give to people, but also people will share what they learned from the dance moves, what came into their mind when they saw someone making the dance moves. And then from there, people will get to now share, no, for me in my situation, I would do this and this and this. I would encourage people to do ABCD and not trying to do CAD when they find themselves into a hardship situation. So that's how we bring in them. So with this, they go in the events knowing that they will be entertained. And now there are so many lessons that they get to learn during the events, depending on the theme that we selected to talk about.
I see. And how often do you have these events?
Really, having the events really depends with the resources, but as well with the community in it. But usually, at least we have 2 or 1 every month.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. And would you say this event, having these people talk about share their mental health struggles and having like a support community, do you think it has helped to get more refugees to be bold enough to talk about mental health, to have mental health conversations?
Yeah. One thing that I forgot to mention, when people entering our activities, we have 2 types of forms. Okay. One that is looking at the person, their mood when entering. The second one is looking at when they are leaving, okay, and what they would suggest us to do for them. So we have those that suggest one-on-one conversations. We have those that really look at, now I'd love to organize such event with maybe my small community of 10 people, 15 people, 8 people, and then we craft something and bring it to them. So one key indicator that would make me say that really this is an idea that is making people talk about their challenges, but as well sharing their most of the challenges that they do face, is that after them leaving the events, they do suggest us with solutions that we could bring to them, and also they look at requesting further assistance in terms of connecting them to mental health experts, but as well requesting for one-on-one conversations.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. All right, so this is getting really, really interesting. In the course of your work, can you share a story of someone who has been impacted by the work you do at Displacement, right? That's your organization, yes. So can you share a particular story, someone who was impacted, and a story that actually spoke deeply to you, that made you understand the importance of the work that you do at Displacement?
Yeah, one is, I love sharing the story of this young lady called Maria.
Okay.
When we did the outreach to a certain Ugandan school that both have refugees and Ugandans as nationals, we found a girl to that school that we just shared, like just sessions around getting to know what is the mental health, how can you protect yourself from stress, stuff like that. This particular lady got our contacts, and she was actually a young lady. She got our contacts, and then later on she reached out to us trying to get further assistance. And we invited to the parents' home, how to have one-on-one conversation. And the challenge this kid was facing was that the parents were always seeing her as a young person, as a young kid, every day, yet she was around 20 to 19 years old. So everything that she would do at home, she needs to ask permission for the parent, like so on, things like that. You know, the African parenting system.
Yeah.
And then from conversation with her, she had fear of opening up, telling the parents how she feels about the decision that they do make for her. Okay. From there, I think with 2 or 3 one-on-one sessions that we had with her, was now opening up, telling her parents things that she feels is not good for her, things that she feels is not right for her to do. Yeah, until now we were invited with the parents, and the parents were happy that at least they didn't know that everything that they're doing for the children was not good for the children. Because now she was opening up, whenever she faces a challenge, she will not keep quiet as she used to do. She will reach out to the parent and share whatever that is challenging.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, Raphael. So, next, if you could change one thing about how mental health is addressed, how it's talked about in refugee settings, what would you change? What would it be?
So if I would change how mental health is perceived in a refugee setting.
Yes, how it's addressed, how it's talked about. What would you change?
I would change the bit of people looking at it like as a taboo. Okay. Someone who speaks about mental health challenges, or maybe someone who opens up as a mad person. I would really look into that so that people would really talk about their mental health challenges with no fear of judgment or maybe discrimination. That would be number one thing I would say. And then for those that brings in interventions to refugee communities, they should realize that mental health is also a big part that they do ignore. Yes, understand they bring in support around education.
So we're talking about like UNHCR, NGOs, governments, and the rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, those that bring in support in refugee camps, UNICEF, UN, Oxfam,
okay,
and so on.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. So, for you, the work that you do trying to address mental health issues that affect refugees, what are the challenges that you face? Okay, so for you, as someone who is working so hard to address mental health issues that affect refugees, what are your challenges? What difficulties do you face in the course of your work?
Yeah, one of the challenges that I face when doing the activities is with the local government agencies allowing you to bring in people. So sometimes they feel like you're having a lot of money and you need to if you are having a refugee for 30 or maybe 1 hour, you should give them something like an upkeep. So it's always challenging bringing in people because we have the local government in the refugee settings. So they want you to at least give in an upkeep for the participant. But as well, another thing is around outsourcing people that are really skilled in mental health, in coaching, in counseling, getting those who are willing to offer their skills or maybe sharing their knowledge for free for refugees in camps.
Okay, I see. All right. So, despite these challenges and these difficulties, what is that thing that keeps you going? That thing that gives you hope? That thing that makes the difficulties not so relevant. So, what keeps you going?
One thing that keeps me going is that I personally have been impacted negatively and positively from the activities that I was impacted negatively from mental health, but now I was impacted positively from what I do. Okay. I believe this is something that would change a lot of people. So I feel it's a call that I have. It's a call that I need to fulfill, supporting in people, talk about their challenges, find solutions to their problems. It's a call. It's my call that I have. And I believe many people will see it as important as I do see it.
All right, Raphael, thank you. And finally, of course, it's World Mental Health Day. We're talking about mental health. So what is your message to the world on mental health, not just mental health, but mental health as relating to refugees? What is your message to the world?
My message to the world would be mental health should be prioritized as number one health priority, if I can say that. Because we think, and many people think, that health only looks at physical things, but we have been so many inner things that we need to provide health to. That people should prioritize mental health as the number one health priority. People should stop looking at what we can evaluate with our eyes and call it something that needs an urgent response. But you can also look at what is hidden inside people's hearts, inside people's minds, and also put priorities for that.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Raphael, for being a guest on this episode of this podcast. It's really been wonderful speaking with you and getting to hear you share insights around mental health for refugees. So thank you so much, and we hope to have you back.
With that, we have come to the end of today's episode of Camps and Borders. And we do hope that you got a thing or two from today's discussion. We look forward to having you again in 2 weeks' time, when we'll be discussing another topic, another issue bordering on forced displacements. Do well to leave us comments and feedback. Let us know what you think about today's episode. For now, it's bye-bye.